Fist flying, no bounds. Podcast kings, we pound for pound. UFC thrills, stills nights get loud. Big EQB, that's how we get down.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the GRP. Back at it again on another Thursday night, ready to talk about all the MMA news and all the events that happened last weekend, mainly UFC, because that's pretty much what happened last weekend. And then, of course, Dana White's Contender series. But if you are a loyal listener slash watcher, that didn't come out right, but if you usually watch the show, you might notice a couple different things. And I'm happy about both of them, the two things that are visually different here. So first of all, because I need to get into the second thing a little deeper. First of all, I got a new mic, if you can tell. I don't know, but it's red and black, as opposed to the normal. You can see it back there. I have two of them back there now, but I'm pretty happy about that mic. So that's a quick little one because it was just fun. It was nice to find one that I actually really liked. And I mean, I love these pod mics, don't get me wrong, but this red and black one hits a little different. So, and it goes with the GRP entertainment stuff. And a lot of my stuff is like red and black. So that is one new thing. Second new thing is the hat. I'm wearing a different hat. I am not wearing a Colts hat or a Braves hat because I'm happy to announce that I have a sponsor, and I'm pretty excited about that. And it is something that I like to do as well, which is smelling salts. So Noctane smelling salts is the sponsor, and they have graced me with a nice brand new sealed bottle of smelling salts, which I will open and try here for you. But I mean, if you hang out with me, if you know me, I've been doing smelling salts for a little while. I have actual reasons for doing them, but they're also just fun. You know what I mean? Like, especially here when I've had a long day for work and I need a little just wake up, because sometimes I'm just tired, dead tired. I got so much in my head. A little boost, wake up, just get me going type stuff. That's safe. You know what I mean? Like, not crazy stuff that other people do. Because that all of that lead up sounded like I was going to do something different, but it's not. It's if you watched, I mean, it's people like Joe Rogan and other people like that do them too. But I've found them and I've liked them, and I use them for other reasons. Like, I'm driving long distances for work, and just get tired on the road, man. And I've never really had to pull over because it's been, well, maybe I have once or twice, but you just get tired and you need to just get alert and be alert. And that's what I've kind of used them for before. I know they're used for lots of other things, and they're becoming like more mainstream, and they're becoming more popular. So the weightlifting, powerlifting kind of crowd has been into them for a long time, and I've learned a lot about them since I started kind of doing them, because I didn't really want to jump into doing something crazy that seemed crazy at the moment because I'd never done it or anything like that. But yeah, it's becoming a lot more popular for various reasons, and I was lucky enough to get linked up with someone that has a company, and they liked the podcast and were willing to have me represent, and as well as they represent me on their website, which at the bottom of their page, I'll show you shortly, that they have a proudly sponsoring the Going Rounds podcast. So it's a pretty happy announcement. That's pretty cool. I feel grateful that they were willing to attach their name to me and with this show. And I'm still growing, I'm still trying to perfect everything and all that good stuff, but someone being able to put their faith in me to to just represent their company in this fashion is I'm grateful for it, and it's cool to hear and cool to see, and it's been a nice little surprise kind of element to podcasting. Sometimes I get a little down on myself, and I'm like, I need something. I need a win, because sometimes things just feel like it's not working, or I just look at the negative side, and I need to be positive about things, and this is something to be positive about. So I am happy to announce this, and here is their logo, Noctane Smelling Salts, and you can find them on Facebook and Instagram. I haven't done it yet. I did put a link down below in the description, so check that out, and you can find their website there, and I will put a link to their social medias as well. But you can also follow this QR code. Pretty easy. So if you're watching this on your phone or on your TV, just scan that QR code. It'll take you straight to the website. It's a pretty cool website. It's actually along the lines of things that I like already, the way kind of the stuff that I'm already into, it gives you that nice kind of colorful psychedelic type feel with the website and some of the stuff that's on it. It's a pretty dope website. I like it. As you can see my shirt, I like crazy stuff like this. It's fun and different, and instead of just wearing a plain black shirt, get all this colorful stuff. And their website is really nice too, so I'm going to show you that right now. They have a kind of a cap system where the colored cap tells you the kind of the potency of the smelling salt, anywhere from kind of a beginner one, which says here it's like their least potent smelling salt basically, and it's a white cap, but it's for beginners that want to try it out, don't want to get all this craziness in their face right away, because it is potent, and it wakes you up. So and their black cap is for like the original kind of smelling salt formula. It just gives you that nice boost, and it's potent and it's strong, but it's not their strongest, because their strongest is the red cap, which has I guess it's just a special kind of formula that gives you even more than you would expect. And it actually says, for those who really just want to cry when they take a hit. And anybody that's done these with me before knows what that feels like, because it happens. But this, for me, the more potent, the better. I like it. But as you can see here, I wanted to show everyone, proud sponsor of Going Around's podcast. So that's pretty fun. That's dope. I appreciate it. Noctane Smelling Salts, thank you again. This is all good stuff. It's fun. It's nice. I did want to read one thing just to make it a little bit kind of, let's see. Let me see if it's going to take me there. There we go. This little blurb they have here. What we are, Noctane Smelling Salts are a blend of carefully formulated ingredients designed to provide an immediate jolt of alertness using a proprietary mix of ammonia compounds. The product is designed to be potent for use in various settings, from sports arenas to emergency response scenarios, and a lot of stuff in between, like I mentioned. So I just wanted to give their official what we are from their website. So that's just, it's fun, man. I like it. I'm happy. It's cool. And now we get to try it, because this is a freshly sealed pack here. So, and it actually says, before I open it all the way, see if I can get that to contents under pressure, open bottle slowly, because that's part of how they keep the potency. So we're going to open this bag nice and slow, careful, and then we're going to get what we want. Let's check out what they gave me. Oh, see, and talk about making me happy right away. I see the red cap. And if you remember what I said about the red cap, it's the most potent. And the other cool thing that I forgot to actually mention was that these, unlike other smelling salts I've tried, these have actual scents included in the mix. So there's scents with them, so it doesn't just hit you with that harsh ammonia smell. It actually has good smells with it, so kind of keeps you alert and gives you a nice smell behind it as well. So let's see what else. Oh, cool. We got a nice little sticker. So we'll be putting that probably on the podcast laptop, and then a card with cool stuff on it. So there we go. That's all mixed in the package. Again, I appreciate this. This is badass. And I have tried once before these smelling salts. I wasn't sure which one I tried or anything like that. And that's how I knew that I could, be happy about doing this. My mom's in the chat saying congratulations and that she loves me. So thank you, Mom. I love you too. I appreciate that. Let's open these up and get this going because I'm excited. Open slowly. And don't get me wrong, I've done these before, but they can be jolting, like it says. Ooh, yeah, that's that good feeling. And those are the most potent. And I like I said, I've done smelling salts before, and yeah, you get that nice little wake me up, but it's fun. Noctane smelling salts, check it out. Link is down below in the description. Go get some for yourselves. They have good prices, they have good scents, and they work well because I am awake. So again, Noctane smelling salts, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody involved, and yeah, it'll be fun. So I will do this every time because this is when I need to be the most alert and keep my mind intact is when I'm doing this podcast. And after a long day of work, because I do work all day, after a long day of work and needing to focus on things that I enjoy doing, this is the best way right here. Noctane smelling salts. Appreciate it. Thank you guys. I'm wearing the hat. I like the hat. Definitely have to represent for the announcement of this sponsorship. So thanks again. All right. There we go. Now that I'm feeling nice and good, let's get going with this podcast and get going with all the crazy news. Again, I got the mic. I got the hat. Feeling good. I did want to show a side view. There we go. Check out the mic. The red and black. Looks pretty sick, I think. I like it. See, you can see the old school Going Rounds logo back there and the flag. And yeah, it's fun. It's nice. I like this. Tommy from the Technically Unsound podcast pointed this mic out to me like probably about a month ago. And I thought it was pretty dope. Didn't think I'd be buying it because I already got three pod mics. But my Rodecaster Pro, which I will show here, this thing right here, it can handle up to 4 mics. So yeah, the now that I can actually have 4 mics at a time, I had to get it. And I got it at a good price. It was just everything was working together. So now I have the 4 pod mics. If I wanted to have 4 people in here at the same time, I could. I have the mics to cover it, and it's all good. So yeah, it's pretty good day today so far. I would say lots of goodies, lots of fun. Thank you, Infinity. I appreciate the congrats in the chat. He said he wants some. Matches nice new mic too. Oh yeah, he's checking out the mic. Yeah, I just got the mic today. Like I literally came home and it was sitting on my counter for me. My wonderful wife got it from the front door, set it up there for me, ready to go. And I had to come in and throw it on right away. So, yeah, I forgot. I need to have a sip now too. Get me going. Because I'm thirsty. All right. So let's get back to MMA and all of the fun stuff that's been happening around here. I actually closed a bunch of windows that I did not mean to close, so that's fun. I'll get back to that. Yeah, let's get going with this because right off the bat, man, I got some funny stuff for you. Some things just went down this week. Dana White has been on a tangent. He just, I guess he figures the I guess you know what? Let me just get there. There we go. Dana White debates media on Jon Jones. That's a mild way of putting it because, man, it's not debating. This motherfucker is going at it with the media, and he's all about calling people names these days. I don't know what I don't know what his deal is, but I mean, he went on. I'm talking like I have a clip for you, and don't get me wrong, I'm gonna break it up and we're gonna get through it. It's a little bit long. Hang in there with me though, because I promise you it's gold. It's funny, and also, you know, the media pushed back a little bit on Dana White because his biggest thing last time it was Marab, right? He was talking shit about Marab, saying how stupid the fighters are that just can't seem to help themselves but to post things on social media that they should probably keep to themselves. So yeah, he went off on that. He called everybody stupid and dumb and was like, I don't understand these guys. They're fucking ridiculous, right? On another level stupid was his quote. So yeah, that's how he explained that. And music sounded kind of loud. Hopefully it's not that loud out there. Hopefully it's at the normal volume, because that sounded pretty loud to me for a minute. Anyway, now he went off on the media because of Jon Jones. And if you know, if you've been paying attention lately, he's been just going off on everybody that decides to tell him that Jon Jones is the GOAT. If anybody disagrees with him, he tells them why they're stupid, pretty much. And that's what we're about to witness again here firsthand. So let's get into that. And don't worry, I'm gonna pause in between. We're gonna talk about what he's saying. But this shit is funny. I gotta take another drink and get ready. All right, here we go. Dana White arguing with the media.
Is Jon Jones the pound for pound GOAT?
Did what?
Is Jon Jones the pound for pound GOAT?
If you notice, he's a what? And he's looking around because this question came out of nowhere. Like, there was other questions going on about Dana White's Contender series, as you can see in the background. He's talking about the fights and everything. He goes on for a little bit about that. Don't get me wrong. And then out of nowhere, this guy just says, "Is Jon Jones the GOAT?" Here we go. Oh, I almost pressed the wrong button. Let's go.
He's the pound for pound best fighter in the world, and he's the GOAT. And you all know this. Numbers don't lie.
Does he have pictures of you?
Dude, okay. So he's like, you all know this, because he's been going off about it. He has not shut the fuck up about it. He won't stop. He will not stop. The glazing is in astronomical amounts right now for Jon Jones coming from Dana White. So that's why everybody's laughing, because they're just like, Jesus, here we go again, right? Oh shit, here we go again. I don't have my sounds up. I'm not gonna even mess with them. But so and then one of the media guys is like, does he have pictures on you or something? Because they're like, you have to be being like blackmailed or something here, because you just keep going. Like, there's something in it for you.
I saw that on the internet too. Are you guys that fucking stupid?
See, and there you go. Are you guys that fucking stupid? And he just goes in, and oh man, like, right away, his favorite thing right now is to call everybody stupid and dumb. You know, a lot of times in the past, he's called people dummies and weird name calling, like not even what you would think. But yeah, here we go.
You can't be that fucking stupid to think that Jon Jones is not the pound for pound best fighter in the world and the GOAT. But maybe you are.
He's not going to talk to any of us either, because right now.
What do you mean?
See, he stood up because he's like, you know what? I'm gonna end this right now. I said what I said, and I'm gonna mic drop it. But he didn't. He kept that mic in his hand, and he continues on.
He's watching this, and we're all saying, you know, questioning you, and
Yeah. Question me. How do you? Who's better than Jon Jones? Who's pound for pound better than?
No. Okay, John.
At what point does activity come into play, right?
Okay, and here's where they start calling him out, right? Because at what point does activity come into play is what the question was. Because obviously the argument is that he's been inactive for so long. Yes, he came back, he fought Cyril Gane, but that was such a quick fight. And it was his first fight in the heavyweight division after moving up. After how many years of being off? Yes, whatever was happened. Then he got hurt. So now he's been out again for a long time. I mean, not as long as before, but a while, right? So inactivity is in play here. And most of the time, the UFC will put an interim champion in. Well, they did, but they were reluctant to, but they did it. But Dana White's been even quoted saying that they don't owe Tom Aspinall anything, even though Aspinall has won the interim championship, is the obvious number one contender, if not the best heavyweight in the division right now. And on top of that, he defended the fucking interim. Like, come on, man.
I mean, we all agree there is nobody better than Jon Jones. He's the greatest of all time. There's no question about it. But at some point when you're looking at rankings, they do have to represent what's happening in the organization at that moment, right at that time. And in the past 3 years, he's had one fight.
And you thought he lost to Reyes.
Last 3 years, he's had one fight. So there's a good reason for why everyone's talking about this. And then they bring up the fact that what the last fight he had before that was against Dominic Reyes, which a lot of people questioned whether he really won that fight, because Reyes gave him a hell of a fight, and it was super fucking close. And on top of all of that, I mean, unfortunately for Reyes, he lost that fight when he had hope that he might have won that fight, and everyone's telling him that he probably won that fight. And now his career hasn't been the same. Like, that did something mentally to Reyes, and it sucks because he was damn good. He could have been a champ. Even if it was a short-term championship reign for him, it still would have done wonders for him. And unfortunately, that's how it went down.
Huh?
And when he fought Reyes, you said you thought Reyes won the fight.
He didn't win the fight. Jon Jones did.
But you said you thought he won the fight.
Who gives a shit? I'm not the fucking judges. The guy.
Who gives a shit? We all give a shit, Dana. You know why? Because you're the motherfucker that goes off about how this, that, and the other thing, and fucking hates Jon Jones, talks down, talks shit about him, and even talked about how he might not have even won that fight. And now you're just like, oh, who gives a shit? Okay.
Guy didn't win he didn't lose the fight. And the one loss that he has is from a referee that should have never been a referee.
But he did something illegal. 12 to 6 elbows. We all agree that rule is fucking stupid and it's going away in November. But it is what it is. It's one fucking loss. Who gives a shit if he has one loss? Who gives a shit? Okay? He still can be considered the GOAT with that one loss. He doesn't have to be fucking undefeated. If anything, that shows and proves that he can come back and be better than ever, because he did that after that loss and became champion. Why do we care about the one fucking loss?
In a million years. He's never lost. We were just talking tonight, these kids that come in here that are undefeated, you know how hard it is to stay undefeated?
Exactly why it shouldn't matter if he's undefeated or not. Fuck.
Jon Jones went through murderer's row. When you talk about activity, and he's fought one time, but Jon Jones was supposed to fight. If Jon Jones was sitting on the couch and saying, yeah, I don't know when I'm going to fight again, then he's definitely not in the pound-for-pound discussion right now. He was scheduled to fight, and he got injured. He is an active fighter.
But guess what happens to other guys that get injured? Dana goes off and says, well, we were counting on him. He's the champ. He's got to defend. You know, this guy, if this guy can't stay healthy, we're going to have to strip him. This is right away. This is what happens right away with every other fighter. And then he goes off on this shit.
He is absolutely an active fighter. And when you talk about pound
one fight in 3 years, real active.
for pound, and I don't want to shit on any of my other guys.
But you're going to, and you do. You called them dumb last week. You said they were all stupid, but you don't want to shit on your guys, right?
But who is it right now? Islam? Islam, many people believe, lost to the guy who's a weight class below him. Is that how pound for pound works?
Oh, so it's okay to talk about Islam fucking having his strength of schedule not being great, but God forbid we talk about Jon Jones that way because he's been so fucking inactive lately. All right.
Many people, including people in this room.
But he got the win. It doesn't
Right?
matter what we
You're,
say.
you're absolutely right. But he fought a weight class down.
Oh, okay. So there's stipulations. The fight you put together, that you said was like the greatest fight that could happen right now, and you did it twice. You did it fucking twice. Why? To save your event. So what the fuck? What are we doing here? What are we doing?
He fought a weight class down. Jon Jones fought a weight class up. And let me tell you what, when all the guys were in there, you had the Jon Jones, the Anderson Silvas, and the George St. Pierres. I know who wanted to fight who and who didn't want to fight who. And Jon Jones has always been willing to fight everybody.
But who gives a shit about that when it didn't happen, right? Because that's what you would say about everybody else. And in the end, he fucking argued with, I saw a clip earlier. He argued with Ariel Helwani about Ariel Helwani having Fedor Emelianenko as his number one heavyweight or his number one pound for pound fighter at the moment. This was in like 2010. And Dana fucking flies off the handle, starts yelling at him about how, oh, who has he fought? What about his strength of schedule? He hasn't fought anybody. He hasn't been in the UFC. He's this, he's that. He's not even that active and all this other shit. And it's like, dude, but now because it's John, it's your boy, because, you know, he's your donut and you're glazing him. It's all good. Like that's cool. Okay.
You know what I mean? The only real mark with Jon Jones, it was his fucking team that he was with at that time, who I could tell you 50 fucking stories about. The Chael Sonnen fight.
Yeah, the fight that I had tickets to for mine and my wife's honeymoon, because my wife is a fucking angel and knew how much it meant to me. And she didn't care. She knew we were going to go to Vegas and have fun. And she bought us tickets for our fucking honeymoon. And this motherfucker, and supposedly his team, according to Dana, this motherfucker wouldn't fight Chael Sonnen, even though he's the greatest of all time.
When they were refusing to fight Chael Sonnen. You know what I mean?
UFC
But other than that,
151.
Jon Jones has fought everybody that's ever been put in front of him. He went through murderer's row, you know, and if you look at who he fought at the time when he fought them, look at the record of the guys combined that he fought. And the list just goes on and on.
That makes him the greatest fighter of all time, not the greatest active fighter, because he is not an active fighter. He has fought one time in over 4 years.
Damn good point.
He is an active fighter. He just got injured. He was going in.
But he hasn't fought.
And he was going in to fight at heavyweight again.
Okay.
A weight class above.
But that.
So where's the praise for Alexander Volkanovski going in and fighting a weight class above when you just diminished his fights against Islam Makhachev because you want to down on Islam and prove your point by downing on your guy who's still a champ right now?
That's
and he fucking destroyed the guy who was the best guy in the division.
But that's an unfortunate thing, and I think everybody here, if he was active, if he had fought one more time, would say he's number one.
He was active. He blew his fucking shoulder out in training and then had to recover and is still coming back and fighting that fight.
And we get it. You know, we get it. He's hurt. I understand. But he wouldn't be that passive with somebody else.
So here's the argument. You could say that we don't know anything.
Jon Jones
you
is
could say we
active.
Don't know. No, see, that's what you do. You talk over us, so we can't answer.
Straight up calling him out. That's good. I believe that's Kevin Iole who is talking right now, and he just straight up said, like, you don't let us talk, so how the fuck can we get our point across?
Apologize. You go ahead.
So if he fought and we don't put him number one, then you have that argument to say you don't know what the hell you're talking about. We are all, I think everybody in this room is saying he's the greatest fighter of all time. And I think most people in this room would say he is the number one pound for pound fighter of all time. But you can't just sit on your laurels from something you did 3, 4, 5 years ago.
When was the Cyril Gane fight?
Since Islam, he hasn't fought in 18 months.
Okay.
Over a year ago,
it's going
Dana.
to be 20 months by the time he gets in the ring.
Almost 2 years.
That, assuming he gets in the ring, right? We don't know he's going to be healthy. So all I think everybody is saying, and the argument against you, is the fact that most people who do pound for pound lists have a 1 year cutoff, unless they're they had a fight scheduled at the time. So Jon fell out of pound for pound list because it was over a year and he didn't have a fight scheduled.
He did.
He doesn't have.
He did have a fight scheduled. And he got injured,
and so that
and now he does have a fight scheduled now.
How many?
So would he say all this for Conor, considering Conor was injured, and then Conor's been kind of, I don't know, back and forth whether he's going to fight or not, and it continuously keeps getting pushed and pushed and pushed. Is he gonna fend for Conor like this? I guess we'll have to see.
Times did we ask you, Dana, is he fighting? I don't know what's happening with Jon Jones. Just like you say about Conor now, right?
I did not say I don't know what's happening with Jon Jones. What I said was Jon Jones is injured and he's recovering from his injury. Fucking common sense. Everybody knows that. This guy just said he knows he's fighting in fucking November. Will I announce it? I said I'll announce it when the whole card is, but everybody knows he's fighting. It's fucking silly. And I don't know what this game is with everybody, but Jon Jones is the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. Until this fucking guy, and he has been he hasn't fought, what'd you say, 18 months since the Ciryl Gane fight?
18 months and then 1 in 4 years.
So 18 months, he moved up and he fought Ciryl Gane and destroyed him in a weight class above him who was.
But he didn't look like he was in the best shape. Yeah, that fight was great for him. It was quick, easy, especially with Ciryl Gane being as athletic and dynamic of a fighter that he is. Yeah, it was impressive. But if he's the GOAT, it should have been that way, right? But I mean, he just didn't look like in the best shape, and then he turns around and gets injured right away. So I'm not just trying to fight against Dana here. I'm just trying to point out his inaccuracies and his hypocrisy in all this.
The number one guy in the world, and I'm in the UFC. Then we book another fight. He's training for the fight, blows his shoulder out, which means he's still active, gets surgery, recovering, and is scheduled to fight in November.
So do we consider Stipe Miocic active, even though he hasn't fought in 4 years? And he hasn't been injured. So what are you should be downing on him, but he's not going to do that because that's part of that main event. And, you know, everyone considers Stipe as one of the greatest heavyweight fighters of all time. Cold art maker. That's right, boy. The glazing for Jon is crazy. And you said that a few weeks ago too, man. And I was just kind of like, yeah, you know, it is getting out of hand. Boy, is it out of hand now.
He is an active fighter.
I think it's kind of like Bill Clinton's definition of is.
I don't even know what that means, but
that was when he was getting impeached, and then the lawyer. But forget that.
No, but he has been an active fighter. He's active. It's not like Jon Jones was not active and was not accepting fights. And I also believe, because I know how Jon Jones is, Jon Jones fights and beats Stipe. If he wins, I think he fights Aspinall.
Oh, okay. So conveniently now, instead of saying, yeah, Jon Jones can just retire. He's got plenty of money. He can do whatever he wants after this. Who knows what he'll do? We don't know what's going to happen. This is what he said when everybody was talking about saying, scrap that Miocic fight and have him fight Tom Aspinall. That's what the people want right now. And now he's like, oh, yeah, and, you know, I'm pretty sure. I know Jon pretty well. But that's not what he was saying a few weeks ago, a month ago, whatever it was.
So it's all just, this is some little fucking game we're all playing that I don't understand.
Well, and
He is the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, and he's the greatest of all time.
Point of this
and you don't have to like him. It's not like me and Jon Jones are fucking, buddy.
Well, I like Jon Jones, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, I will say that I've had my share of arguments.
Yeah, we get it.
Yep.
That's just me.
No, I don't disagree with you. But here's the flip side to that. So what do? A guy who's looked at as the greatest heavyweight in the UFC, right? This fight set up. Jon Jones gets hurt. Not his fault. He has to wait and go back into fucking training camp again. He was training. So do I just yank it away from Stipe and say, hey, go fuck yourself and sit on the sidelines for 2 more years? Or
you've done it before.
Or, you know what I mean? If I did that, you guys would be like, oh, you fucking disrespected the greatest heavyweight ever. And you know what I mean? So would the fucking fans. So I should just shit on Stipe because Jon got hurt and not make the fight that he was already supposed to fight.
But in his argument with Ariel Helwani back in 2010, he was arguing that Fedor is inactive, hasn't fought all the top-level guys in years, and yet it's okay to say that he doesn't. I don't know.
We'll end it here, but I'll talk to you later.
What?
Okay, then the answer to that would be you should have had Stipe fight Aspinall or somebody else, right?
Yeah.
In the interim, because how do you qualify for a title shot when you have not fought since 2021, and you lost that fight? How do you qualify for a title shot sitting out for over 3 years and just sitting on the sidelines waiting when you're trying to say who is the best fighter in the world? Should you not be active and be competing and be beating? You said yourself, and Hunter has said that the UFC heavyweight division is the best it's ever been, right? So should he not be challenging himself against those fighters? So when Jon got hurt, instead of saying Stipe versus Pavlovich,
Okay,
don't show the guys the respect.
I want to get
His last fight. So are you the media telling me I should just tell Stipe to fuck off and, you know, good luck to you, Stipe. Right off into sunset. Go fight some fires. And again, like you said, if Stipe was, you know, 32 years old, then yeah. Then that's probably what we do. But this is probably Stipe's last fight, win or lose. And I'm not going to disrespect the guy. He accepted the fight. He was ready for the fight, and Jon got injured. If you don't think that I wouldn't love to just say, hey, let's do fucking Stipe and one of the top 3 heavyweights, and then we do Jon Jones versus, you know, it would be great. But we already agreed to this with these guys. We already had a deal.
But they've given people title shots before, promised it to them, and then take it away from them because it wasn't in their best interest to do it. And now, when it doesn't seem like everyone else's best interest to have any kind of, you know, stock in this fight that is just continuously getting pushed back, kind of like the Conor shit. And yes, there's an injury. Yes, there's this. Yes, there's that. No one's even heard from Stipe, except for him saying fake news to some shit that, oh no, that was that Tom Aspinall? No, that was Stipe. I don't know. Who gives a shit? Haven't really heard from Stipe on all this. What's his take on all this? And yeah, I don't know. Let's finish this up.
And Jon got hurt. You know, it's not like I'm trying to pull off some fucking, you know, fight nobody wants to see, or, you know, or not give Aspinall's a young, badass dude. He's got plenty of time. These guys are going to fight in November, and he will fight Jon Jones if he wins. I almost guarantee you that. And if Stipe wins, then we'll figure out what's next for Aspinall.
So if Stipe were to happen to win, does Aspinall become the full champion given you?
Well, then who knows too? Let's see if Stipe wins and Stipe feels great. Maybe Stipe does take the fight. I don't know. I'm just saying, me right here now, I think that if Stipe wins, Stipe probably retires. But you never know until the fight's over. Anything can happen in a fight. Stipe could go in there and win spectacularly, and he beats the greatest fighter of all time.
You give Jon Jones the immediate rematch, and Tom Aspinall stays back for fucking God knows how long when Jon Jones is ready to take his rematch, and you don't give anybody else to fucking fight. Oh no, wait, maybe you will. Maybe you will tell Stipe, you have to fight this fight. You can't wait for Jon Jones. Or maybe that doesn't happen because they're gonna want to appease Jon Jones, because that's where all this fucking hoopla is for Jon Jones. So are you going to make him fight someone else, or are you going to say, no, Jon Jones gets the immediate rematch?
And maybe he wants to test himself against Aspinall, and maybe the money's right and it all lines up and he wants it. Who knows? But I made a deal with these two guys that they could fight each other.
And you hold up all your deals, right?
One guy got hurt. Now he's ready, and the fight's going to happen. And Jon Jones is the pound-for-pound best fighter.
This motherfucker. And he has to end it with that. So I know that was long. I know. But I had to get my argument in there for the sake of anybody that hasn't been following this. It's so ridiculous. Like, Dana is just, I don't know. I guess when you have the money and the power, you get to do whatever you want. But when it's outright ridiculous like that, and he calls everybody fucking out on everything, and then he does this shit, and it's like, bro, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? So anyway, all this spanned from Dana White's Contender Series, which happens on Tuesday nights. These fucking press conferences are content gold. Like, how can I not cover this? And maybe it's not the best thing in the world for me to be covering this, but I really there's not a whole lot going on right now, okay? Because coming up this weekend, there is no UFC fights. There's not a whole lot going on. It's Labor Day weekend. It's a long weekend. Everyone should hang out, barbecue, sit by the pool, fucking go to the lake. I don't know, do whatever the fuck you do on Labor Day weekend. But for me, I don't have to worry about it either. I'm just gonna hang out and I don't know, whatever. Play some golf, I think, at some point this weekend. But in the end, there's no UFC fights this weekend. So this has been the biggest headline of everything, and I had to cover it. So I'm sorry if that clip was a little too long for you, but I hope it was entertaining enough to keep you guys involved, because it definitely had me going since Tuesday night when it happened. And I was like, this clip is long. I made a TikTok from it, by the way. And if you look right down there, right there, it just went away, but it'll come back. My social media is there. Go to it. I've been doing posting a lot on TikTok, different clips and stuff, you know, making content. And you can catch up on all the stuff on Instagram, Facebook. There's a lot of news that happens. I repost it all. If you don't want to follow 65 accounts, you can follow mine. I'll show you all the good shit. Take advantage. Being an aggregator is frowned upon by some people, but when it comes down to it, I cover this sport and I don't have all the inside information and stuff like that. So when things get announced, it is what it is. Let's get back to Dana White's Contender Series, the up and coming fighters that are trying to get into the UFC, fighting for a contract. That happens every Tuesday night. The season's on, and this was week 3 this past week. So there was some pretty damn good fights on this card. Pulev versus Anderson in the middleweight division. Grad versus Aswell in the featherweight division. And holy shit, wait till you see those pictures. Tulio versus Duclos in the middleweight division. Wellmaker versus Bromhald in the bantamweight division. Arguably the best fight of this entire card. And Duffy versus Piccanini in the flyweight division. And here are your winners from Tuesday night. And don't worry, I have some pictures to show you from these fights that gave these 4 guys contracts. Wellmaker, Tulio, Grad, and Pulev got the contracts for Dana White's Contender Series and will be coming to the UFC sometime in the near future. Who's next for the GOAT? Leon Edwards, Cold Art Maker says. That's a tough one, man. Because I'm in the realm of thinking about this right now. But Leon, I don't know, man. I think Leon needs to get his mental state put together before he can even think about his next opponent. I think he needs to go to like a sports psychologist or something, because you see that mental block that happens when you can see that mental block that happens when he just is not doing well. You saw it with Usman. You saw it a little bit when he fought, who was the other? Maybe a little bit with Colby, but not really. Who else? Oh, damn, I had somebody else but I think Leon needs to get his head straight. I think he needs to get his shit together mentally before he can even think about his next opponent. So for me, I ain't worried about it until I hear that he's putting in the work for his mental state to get back in there and be the Rocky that he was against Usman in that 5th round. And the what he showed and proved in the fights afterwards, leading up to when he lost, unfortunately. I think he needs to get that shit together. But back to the contract winners here for Dana White's Contender Series. We had Malcolm Wellmaker coming out with a fucking terrific KO over his opponent. And holy shit, man, this dude looks good. He's got the look, he's got the skills, he's got the power. I feel like this is a guy to definitely keep your eye on. And he had this crazy overhand right that people were comparing to Sean O'Malley's win over Aljamain Sterling, where, you know, he got that overhand right as a counter over his opponent's arm that was coming in trying to hit him. He countered with that overhand right, gets the big KO, and face plant him the way that O'Malley face planted Aljamain Sterling to win the belt. So, you know, there's high hopes and big talk about Malcolm Wellmaker, and yeah, he's definitely somebody to look out for. It's a hell of a KO. You know, you can go find it on ESPN Plus, go watch it. It's worth watching. I watched it like 3 times because I was like, damn, that was dope. That was a hell of a fight, and I'm glad that I was watching these fights that night. Moving on to the next, Tulio gets the win here, and gets a contract. He looked pretty good here. This was a weird kind of knockout because it was a little bit of an argument as to what really happened, because it looked like a low blow, but as you can see here, his foot actually connected right above the belt line and actually caught like the liver of his opponent and gave him kind of a little liver kick there with this like spinning back kick that he did. It was a little bit awkward, a little bit you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Unorthodox, but he definitely landed flush on the liver and folded his opponent. Winds up getting the KO. You can see him here holding his side in pain. He follows up, and the ref stops the fight quickly, and he winds up getting the contract. Moving on to Aswell versus Grodd, and as you can see, bloody fight. Both of them are bloodied up here. Aswell getting this nice connection on the chin, but Grodd came back and wound up putting in his work and catching Aswell here and putting some real good damage on him, and with this big overhand right there. You can see the blood coming from over his eye on his eyebrow. Nasty looking cut right there. You can see it a little better here. This was after the fight. Look how fucking big that cut is. Holy shit. And if you're squeamish, this might be bad. I should have warned you beforehand, but you might want to look away on this next one, because we have a close-up shot from behind the scenes when they were starting to stitch him up. Nasty open gash right on the eyebrow of Aswell, and here it is. Look away if you don't like blood and gory kind of cuts. Here you go. Bam, look at that shit. Oh my god. This came from Dana White's I think it was his Instagram stories. I'm not even sure at this point where I got this from, but look at that cut. Holy shit. It's like you could I don't even know. It's hard to even say what we're looking at here, but damn, that's brutal. Fucking brutal. Holy shit. And imagine how many stitches that got. That one's tough. I'll spare you looking at it any longer. Wait, I'll leave it up a minute. No, a couple more seconds. Okay, I'm sorry. Impressive though, that he survived that, and he was smiling at the end of that. You saw that picture before that one. But yeah, hell of a fight there. And then you got Pulev, who got this big knee on his opponent here. Couple other big shots, leads him to the win and gets him the contract for the night. There you go. Look at his side. Holy shit, that's a big mark on his ribs. Like, holy, I don't know if that was kicks. I don't remember specifically, but he definitely has some bruising there, showing the damage. Pulev gets the win and the contract. And that does it for Dana White's Contender Series Week 3. Catch it every Tuesday, ESPN Plus. Like, it goes on early though. It's 4 p.m. here in Arizona. So if you want to catch it, but you can always rewatch it later. That's what I do most of the time when I do get to it. This past week, I actually watched a couple of the first fights because I was just ready to go, and I watched them. I had some time, so I did, and then I watched the rest later. So good fights there. Oh, I almost lost my spot. But let's move on to the recap of UFC Vegas 96. Jared Cannonier versus Kyle Baralho. I'm trying to keep that I off of the end of that because it's not Bahalio, because that's what I kept saying. It's Bahalo, I believe. Anyway, he's a badass. Jared Cannonier, 40 years old, but looks like a goddamn Spartan with his physique. I mean, he looked pretty decent in the fight, but you know, he is older, and the first thing to go is your speed. So that's unfortunate. And yeah, it's just one of those things where, you know, I still feel like he's in the game. I still feel like, you know, he has potential to keep, you know, getting some good fights in there and maybe work his way back up. But unfortunately for him on this night, he did get the L, and Bahalo fucking gets the win. And this was also the Ultimate Fighter season finale. Ultimate Fighter 32. I don't know why I keep feeling like I am mistaking what season it is, but yeah, Ultimate Fighter 32. And that was Shevchenko versus Grasso were the coaches for the season. I didn't watch it. I know. I don't know what it was. It was just one of those things. I did not watch it. It just didn't interest me. And I kind of regret it now because I'm hearing about all these good fighters. The winners of this night for the finalists and the actual Ultimate Fighter winners were great. So I'm kind of sad that I missed those fights. Trin, my daughter, kept updating me and talking to me about it, telling me that there was good fights. I kept meaning to go back and watch it, but just never really had the time. And anytime I did have it, I just didn't think of it. So bad for me, but I didn't hear a lot of people talking about this season. Didn't sound like it did that great in the ratings and whatnot. So it is what it is. Getting through my drink today, but that's because I stopped talking for a little bit while we were watching that video, so it gave me time to drink. But anyway, Ultimate Fighter 32 season finale happening during this card. UFC Fight Night Vegas 96, another Apex card. Pretty decent card though overall. I'm twerking to the music. The MMA holes. That's fucking funny. Hey, thanks. I'm glad you appreciate the music. I like to have it in the background because me in silence, even though I'm talking, it doesn't work well. I like to have something going on, and the music helps me. So hopefully it's not annoying to you. Hopefully you're being sincere about that. But spend more time on drinking than cardio, my friend. Oh, cool. Yeah, thanks. All right, whatever. Oh man. Yeah. Funny when you can't see you. So it's cool. Anyway, moving on to the undercard here. Let's see, who did we have on the undercard? A lot of decisions in the middle. It started off, oh yeah, the Kong Wang versus Victoria Leonardo. That fight. So Kong Wang came out in the weigh-ins, fucking full on Joker face paint, right? Looking all crazy, and then tells her opponent, I'm gonna win, or I'm gonna kill you, or some shit like that. I don't even remember what she said, but it was pretty funny, and it was kind of weird. So then we're like, let's see how she fights, right? She comes out and knocks out her opponent in 1 minute and 2 seconds into the first round. Like, great knockout, great way to start off the fight. And yeah, she proved herself, and she's got a lot to say about boasting herself up. So that's cool. And I guess we'll see where she goes with that. But MMA holes in the chat. Yep. So then we had 1, 2, 3, 4 decisions in a row after that first knockout in the for the first fight of the night. Jacqueline Cavalcanti versus Jose Nunez. That was a split decision in the women's bantamweight division. Via, I can't even, Borshev, I'm not going to say his first name because I can't, versus James Yanthrop. Split decision in the lightweight. Hey, thanks, Sober Carl. I appreciate that, bro. The nice words are appreciated. You guys don't have to boast me up, but you also don't have to bring me down. So I appreciate it when you say nice stuff. Thank you. Borshev gets the win by split decision in the lightweight division. Zachary Reese versus Jose Medina. Unanimous decision win in the middleweight division. And then Francis Marshall versus Dennis Bazooka, which, damn, Bazooka. Shit. It sucks, man, because they fought for him. His team fought for him to be in the UFC for so long, and he just keeps coming up short. Fighting Francis Marshall in the lightweight division, and he loses by split decision, I believe. I mean, he beat Connor Matthews by TKO. Before that, he had 2 losses in a row. So after those 2 losses, you know, and then getting the win, it's like looking at hopefully putting together wins and getting himself, you know, climbing the ladder and getting in there, and then he loses again by split decision. Do you suppose Jon and Dana blow each other, or it's one-way arrangement? Oh my God. Oh, that's funny, man. Woo. Hey, optimistically cynical. I just realized what your name was. Maybe I mistook it. I don't know, but I appreciate that. He said subbed and good luck. Thank you very much. I'm no expert or nothing here, man. I'm not asking for anything. I'm just here talking about what I'm passionate about it. I like MMA. I watch all the fights. I've been watching for years and years and years. So, you know, hopefully you guys can just enjoy it if you do. And if you don't watch it. No big deal. I appreciate anybody that's here, though. Thank you. And thanks for the nice words, too. Thanks for the good luck. But yeah, as far as Jon and Dana, who knows who blows who? But Dana's all about the Dana's all about riding. If we all know what that means. So yeah, Bazooka, man. Just what with Matt Serra being on UFC Unfiltered, you know, you hear a lot about his guys and stuff. So it sucks when they're so passionate about their guys and wanting them to do well, and then unfortunately they come up short and it just doesn't work out for him. So we'll see if he can bounce back and if he can get in there and put together a nice win streak. But let's move on to the main card finally. Get to Edmund Shabazian versus Gerald Meerschaert. This was a back and forth fight, and actually GM3 was getting his ass whooped for a little while there. And it wasn't looking good for him. So, you know, it is what it is. Like, that's kind of the way he fights a little bit. I mean, it seems like he's always taking damage, but Shabazian's kind of the same way. The Shabazian just stays getting hit. But you know, it's an impressive knee here against GM3. You know, he started off, he got his legs in. GM3 wasn't looking good for a while there. There's a big kick by Shabazian, as well as some ground and pound here where it kind of looked like it might be the end for GM3. But after the fact, he wound up coming back. Let me see. I just clicked off of something and I wasn't trying to click off of, so that sucks. There we go. Yeah. Anyway, after this, I mean, Meerschaert wound up recovering finally, and then turns it around, gets an arm triangle choke on Shabazian. After he, you know, he did land some punches of his own as well, but he winds up getting this arm triangle choke on Shabazian, winds up tapping him, gets the win. So after a little bit of some scary minutes there, he winds up coming back and yeah, gets the win. So good for GM3. Shabazian looking defeated there. Unfortunately for him, he gets subbed, and that happened in the second round in the middleweight division. Moving on to Michael Morales versus Neil Magny. And Morales is impressive, man. This guy, fucking Mr. Spider-Man himself, and from the you know what? I'm not big on all this stuff, so I'm not even gonna say it. The Spider-Verse or whatever, I don't even know what they call it, but I don't know why I tried to even go there, because that's not me. But I don't want to sound stupid. My boys from the other podcast would make fun of me for not knowing, and it would be legit. So anyway, I know that he does the whole hey, MMA Holes, thank you. I appreciate you being in the chat. Appreciate the nice words. Big ups to you as well. Thank you. But Morales against Neil Magny, a vet who's fought a lot of the big names, and Morales is coming in there as the younger guy trying to prove himself, and he's done well in the past, and he definitely looks good. And yeah, he just continued that here with his fight against Neil Magny. This big ground and pound, flattens out Neil Magny, you know, puts the beating on him, winds up giving him a TKO in the first round, 4 minutes and 39 seconds in. So Magny almost survived, but Morales was too much on top on his back. And Magny does this. He gets covered up, and it's kind of over for him. You kind of know when Magny's going to be done. And sometimes he'll survive and push through, or he'll get the luck of ending the round, but not this time. Morales got him 4 minutes, 39 seconds into the first round. Morales gets the win. Then we move on to the Ultimate Fighter finale. And this was a pretty damn good fight. Mayron Santos versus Khan Ofli. And Ofli, Ofli looks good in the beginning. He's quick. They're both fast, actually. They're both really fast, and they both look like they wanted to be there. They had something, they were fighting for something, obviously, with the Ultimate Fighter Championship being in there. Ultimate Fighter winning the Ultimate Fighter show, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So, but Mayron Santos considers himself like the next Anderson Silva, so he says, or that's what's being said because of how he looked in this fight. But you never know. These guys come out of the Ultimate Fighter house, they win their fight to be the Ultimate Fighter champion, or the TUF champion, but sometimes they get in to the UFC and start fighting in their normal, fashion in the UFC on the roster during the regular fight nights and all that, and you never know what they're gonna do or how they're gonna handle it. So yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things you gotta wait and see. But he looked damn impressive in this fight. Hopefully gave him a good fight, but Santos had everything he had all the weapons to help him win this fight. I mean, he had the knees going, nice punches. Man, my stream deck is just lagging right now. He looked fast. He had some pop on those punches. All of his strikes, he was being precise. So he came out there ready to win, and that's exactly what he did. Catching Ofli all over the place. And then he had this crazy knockout where everyone thought it was the right hand that knocked out Ofli, but it was actually a quick short left hook that took him out and stiffened him on his knees like this, where he kind of stayed there and paused there. And of course, Santos, knowing the name of the game, right? You don't stop until the ref tells you to. You can see the ref's hand in the picture there running towards him, but Santos went ahead and followed up, gave him a couple more punches just to finish him off. The ref gets there, stops the fight, and Santos is the Ultimate Fighter champion. And he gets a trophy, he gets the contract, and we'll see what's in store for him in the future, because he looks promising. So I hope he continues on that trajectory. I heard him on a couple podcasts already. Sounds like he's got a good head on his shoulders, and he's definitely hungry. Some of these guys that come out winning and stuff, like Jesse Taylor, they just don't know what to do with it, man. They let it get to their heads. They're a little bit already kind of out there, a little bit crazy with it. But yeah, sometimes they just don't know how to handle it, and they let it get the best of them, and they don't really take it anywhere. It's unfortunate. So hopefully Santos has all the good things in his head to keep him going and keep him winning and do well in the sport. So good luck to him. We'll be definitely looking out for him in the future. The next, in the middleweight division, we had Ryan Loder versus Robert Valentin. And this was the other TUF finale fight. So with this one, I mean, Loder looked good. I mean, he's as you can see here, throwing Valentin. Valentin looks the part for sure. He looks like the guy that's gonna come out there and just be a marauder and wreck shit. But he definitely gave it a good go, but didn't have any luck in this night because Loder was all over him, and he got in a bad position at one point in time with Valentin on his back. Looked like he might be able to sink in that choke, but Loder was moving at all times, trying to scramble. There was good scrambles between both these guys throughout the fight. It went to the second round, but a minute and 49 seconds in, Loder was able to reverse things and get good position and wind up TKOing Valentin by by elbows in the second round. So good for Loder. Congrats to him. He's the TUF 32 winner for the middleweight division. And yeah, we'll be looking out for him as well. I mean, it's hard to follow up what Morales did, but he looked good in this fight too, and it's definitely a good win for him. So moving on to the co-main event, we had the ladies in the strawweight division. Angela Hill, so many fights, doesn't have the greatest record of all time, but she definitely puts up some good fights, and she's exciting to watch. There is times where she's maybe not the most exciting fighter, or maybe you're just kind of like, what the hell am I watching, because of the way her fights go. But she's one of those vets that has put in all the time, put in all the work, and definitely made a fight of it this time with Tabitha Ricci. And Ricci has had her ups and downs as well. But in this fight, I mean, she was able to get the best of Angela Hill. Unanimous decision win for Ricci. As you can see, Hill got a couple good shots in, but in the end, Ricci was able to overcome all of it and win on points against Angela Hill, the vet. And you know, if you know Ricci, it's always fun watching her fight for various reasons. But she is a damn good fighter, and she was, let's see, she was coming off a win, I think. Yeah, so that makes 2 in a row for her, coming off a win over Tisha Pennington. Even that was a split decision win. You know, I wasn't sure how she was gonna fare after that loss to Lupi Godinez, because she was on a 4-fight win streak before she lost to Lupi, and it just kind of looked like, you know, it was kind of a weird fight. And I mean, she could have won. It was a split decision for Lupita Godinez, but you know, it was one of those fights where it could have gone either way. But unfortunately for Ricci, she lost that fight. Comes back though and wins the next 2 in a row. So she's on a 2-fight win streak now, with a big win over Angela Hill, who, like I said, doesn't have the best record in the world, but she is a vet. She's fought all the big names, and it's a good win. She's known as somewhat of a gatekeeper, so you get past her and it's nothing but good for you. So congrats to Ricci on that win. By the way, I like to just have a drink, you know, keep me loose and stuff. So it's not like I'm sitting here chugging beers like the whole time. I'm taking sips off a drink. Chill out. I'm just thinking about that from earlier. But now we're to the main event here. Kyle Borralho versus Jared Cannonier. Like I was saying earlier, Jared's the older fighter, 40 years old. That's real old for fighting, you know. But Cannonier definitely has the physique of a fighter. He's pretty ripped for 40 years old, and he looks like he's unstoppable. But you know, Borralho is a little younger. Let's see, I forgot how old he. Oh yeah, he's only 31, and he's definitely been on the come up. He's undefeated in the UFC. He hasn't lost since 2015. I mean, he's 17-1 now after this win, and yeah, he's on a he's coming from Dana White's Contender Series as well. He fought twice in Dana White's Contender Series back in 2021. So that's how he made his way in here. He's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is a 7-fight win streak for him. So, I mean, he's definitely on a tear and fighting better and better fighters every time. And he's fought Oleg Zaychuk, Magomedov, Muradov, Petrosian, Paul Craig. So, I mean, he's fought some good fighters, some good names, and then now you get Jared Cannonier in a main event. And, I mean, no chemtrails today in Southern California. You're delusional. That's his name. Cool. sounds about right. But yeah, so Jared got some good strikes in here. As you can tell, he actually damaged Kyle pretty good, but Kyle came back. You know, he's always throwing big knees, flying attacks here and there, but and he caught Cannonier. Let's see, what round was that? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was a unanimous decision. So actually, I don't even know what round it was. I can't remember. But big connections for Kyle, and you could see here how much of an impact that was on Jared. But Borralho got a lot of damage. Like I said before, look at that big cut on his eye, under his eye, and here he's a nice picture of the blood coming out of Jared Cannonier. So this was a pretty fun fight, even though it went to decision. Dude, at one point, it was like, why are we not stopping this fight? I mean, Kyle was on top of Jared after this with just a bunch of unanswered punches, and I get it. Jared was covering up. He was defending intelligently enough, I guess. But, I mean, Kyle he just fucking got on top of him, ground and pound. And there was so many punches, and it was like, why are we not done here? Why is this not getting stopped? I get it. It was in, you know, it was a main event. Jared's pretty experienced and he's a savage. So I guess maybe the ref was just like, let's give him his due and let him try to survive, and he did. Murgliata gave him plenty of time, and it went all 5 rounds. But in the end, Kyle Bahalo got the win. Big win over Jared Cannonier, but not without some damage. And look at that eye, man. That's crazy. And then after the fight, we saw this post where you see the before and after. Look at that big fucking gash under Kyle's eye. Oh shit. That's not as bad as the one we saw in Dana White's Contender series, but it was pretty damn bad. And look how it looks the next day. I mean, that eye is swollen shut. Obviously, looks pretty nasty. I'm sure he got quite a few stitches to stitch up that cut. So anyway, that's it. That covers UFC Vegas 96. And you know, I thought this was going to be a little bit longer with how it started, but that's it. There's nothing else to cover really right now. You know, there's all the little stuff, but it is what it is. The bigger things were just Dana White and him going off on the media. I mean, it was funny. It was funny. It was entertaining. And I guess we can't ask for any more than that. The fights were good. The Ultimate Fighter is over for this season. We'll see what they have in store for the future. I feel like Dana White's Contender series is like more interesting because you don't have to deal with all the fluff. It's nice to get to know a lot of the fighters' backgrounds and stories. Don't get me wrong. Big ups for all of that. But the Ultimate Fighter just seems like it's just a little bit outdated. Seems like it's a little bit of I don't know, a little done. But a lot of people still enjoy it. I couldn't get down with it this season because Shevchenko just irks me a little bit. Listening to her talk and it's almost like, I get it, English isn't her first language, but it's almost like she tries too hard. And she has this like this persona about her that she's a fucking beast in the cage. I'll say that much. She was the best for a long time, and she held that belt for a long time. So no shade on her talent and what she can do in there and her title reign. But and then you got Grasso too, who is just a little more timid, a little less active with the talking and harder to understand even sometimes. So I don't know. I just wasn't into it this season. I've watched like every other damn season. Maybe not as closely as I did a few years ago, but I definitely watched a lot of it. And it's just tough to stay in it sometimes. So I didn't watch a ton of it this season, but the finale was good. Looks like we're going to get some good fighters out of it. So I appreciate that. Any which way to introduce us to some new fighters. You never knew what kind of star you're going to get out of it, what kind of champion you're going to get out of it. But there's no denying that Dana White's Contender Series is where we're getting a lot of the fighters these days that are doing real well for themselves, becoming champions, becoming contenders, being the exciting fighters. So yeah, that's just my feeling and thoughts on the Ultimate Fighter. But with the finale happening here, it was a good night of fights. This was a good card overall. And we have to wait until next weekend. Not this weekend coming up, but the weekend after for the next fights, which look like those are going to be pretty good too. We got Gilbert Burns fighting in the main event, I believe, against Sean Brady. That's a hell of a fight. Jessica Andrade versus Natalia Silva. Steve Garcia versus Kyle Nelson. Steve Garcia just fought not that long ago and looked good. So his fight against Kyle Nelson should be good. Matt Schnell versus Alessandro Costa. Trevor Peek versus Yanai Ashmuz. And Zhu Rong versus Chris Padilla for the main card. What do we got in the Ryan Spann versus OSP in the prelim, featured prelim. Let's see who else. That's about it. Oh, Jacqueline Almarim versus Vanessa Demopoulos. Let me tell you this. Vanessa Demopoulos is a former exotic dancer, stripper, whatever you want to call it. She wrote the stripper Bible. And yeah, she likes to jump in the commentators' arms that are interviewing her after her wins. So that's funny. But then you got Jacqueline Almarim, which, man, go check out her Instagram. You will not be disappointed. So starts off with a banger there. Easy on the eyes to start that card, to say the least. But that's happening Saturday, September 7th. It's an earlier card. Looks like the prelims are starting at 1 p.m. Arizona time, and the main card starts at 4 p.m. Arizona time. So check that out. We will preview that next week. So come back next Thursday. Check out the show again. I appreciate everybody in the chat. MMA Holes, thank you for the good words. Thanks for the sub. Optimistically Cynical. Sober Carl too. Nice show, bro, he said. I appreciate that. Pale Monkey in the chat. And Cold Art Maker, returning chat member there. I appreciate you. Omar, couple other people in there. Infinity, thank you again. My mom, thanks for the congratulations. My pops text me too. My wife was in the chat. Thank you, everybody. Once again, we got, let me get that to focus. Noctane smelling salts. You know what? I'm going to hit it one more time before we get out of here. Oof. Ow. That one got my eye. Watch your eyes when you do it. I usually close my eyes. It got me that one on that time. But new sponsor of the show. I like doing smelling salts. You're delusional. Oh, my bad. I forgot you. Your chemtrails threw me off. I'm sorry, but you're delusional in the chat as well. He said, great coverage. I appreciate you. Thank you. I'm sitting here just talking about stuff that I like. So thank you guys for taking time out of your day to tune in. New sponsor for the show, Noctane. Oh, geez. I pressed the wrong button. Hold on. Here we go. Noctane smelling salts. Hit that QR code. It'll take you straight to the website. You can purchase these smelling salts. And yeah, enjoy yourself. Go slow, man. You can do the white cap. Those are the beginner ones. The black cap is the like mediocre but normal type, and the red cap is the very strong ones. That's what I like because I've been doing smelling salts for a little while. They're nice. It's a good pick me up. It's good when you need to be alert. It's good when you need to wake up for those hard days, and it's good to keep you on track, like after a long, tiring day like I had today. So check it out. The link is down in the description. I'll put links to the social medias as well. I believe they have a Facebook and an Instagram. Go follow those. Thanks again to Noctane Smelling Salts for the sponsorship. And that's it for me. Come back next Thursday, every Thursday, 7 p.m. Arizona time. And we will preview the next upcoming UFC fights and any other combat sports news. Till then, enjoy your Labor Day weekend. Be safe. Have fun. Get some smelling salts so you can stay alert and stay awake. That's it for me. I'm out of here. Take it easy. We'll see you next week. Peace.